The screen door slammed like a gunshot, and there he was, Elias, my Elias, with her hand tucked into the crook of his arm like she owned the space that had always been mine. "Jax, meet Riley," he said, his voice cracking just enough to slice through the chatter of our makeshift family dinner, the kind we'd scraped together every Sunday since Dad bailed when I was 5. I dropped the bowl of green beans, shards of ceramic exploding across the linoleum, and in that shatter, I knew. The boy who'd shared my secrets, my bed, my heartbeat, had just handed me a lie wrapped in lace. Rain hammered the roof of our old Craftsman in Tacoma, Washington, the kind of Pacific Northwest downpour that turns the world gray and unforgiving. Mom's eyes flicked up from the turkey she'd overcooked again, her way of saying, "We're okay, even if we're not." But she forced a smile, the one that crinkled the corners of her eyes like tissue paper. Aunt Clara, who wasn't blood but might as well have been after fostering us both through the foster system shuffle, paused mid-sip of her boxed wine. "Well, aren't you a vision, dear?" she cooed at Riley, who blushed in that emerald dress, the fabric whispering against Elias's jeans like a siren's call I couldn't unhear, couldn't breathe. Not because of the dress. God, no, it was just a dress, off the rack from some mall in Seattle, but because it draped over her like a flag of surrender, marking territory Elias had sworn was ours alone. We'd grown up in this house, him crashing on my couch after his mom overdosed when we were 12. Me teaching him how to skip stones on Puget Sound to drown out the silence Dad left behind. Fatherless by blood, we'd built our own fortress. Late-night confessions under the covers, his hand finding mine in the dark, whispering dreams of escaping this rust-belt echo of America, where men like us hid in plain sight. By high school, it wasn't just brotherhood anymore. Sophomore year, after the homecoming game where we sacked the quarterback from Puyallup like avenging angels, we'd stumbled into the woods behind the field. The air smelled of wet pine and victory, our jerseys mud-caked, breaths ragged. "Jax," he'd said, his hazel eyes locking on mine under the sliver of moon. "You're the only one who gets it, the only one who stays." And then his lips were on mine, tentative, then fierce, like he'd been starving for years. It wasn't fireworks. It was a dam breaking, flooding everything we'd dammed up since we were kids trading comic books and promises. We were careful after that. Stolen moments in the bed of my truck, parked on dead-end roads where no one looked twice. Brothers in arms, we joke, but it was code for lovers in the shadows, building a life from scraps. College split us. Me at community college in Seattle, grinding through auto mechanics because Mom needed the hands steady around the house. Him at UW Tacoma, chasing a degree in graphic design, sketching logos that looked like the tattoos we'd inked on each other one drunken night, interlocking gears for the machines we'd fix together someday. Phone calls turned to texts, texts to video chats where his face filled my screen, that crooked smile pulling me through finals and oil changes. "Miss you, brother," he'd type, but we'd both hear the unspoken. "I love you, more than blood." Then came the betrayal, slow as Seattle fog, thick as the lies we told ourselves. It started with the silences, his replies lagging, excuses about group projects that ran late. "Family dinner soon?" I'd ask, craving the anchor of our Sundays. "Yeah, soon," he'd say, but soon stretched into months. Mom noticed first, her worry lines deepening over coffee at the Formica table. "Elias okay? Haven't seen that boy since summer." I shrugged it off, lied through my teeth. "He's busy, Ma, chasing dreams." But inside, it gnawed like rust on an old Chevy. That Sunday, 3 months after his last visit, the dress walked in and detonated everything. Riley was sweet, in that wide-eyed sorority way. Blonde curls, laugh like wind chimes, studying nursing because someone's got to heal the world. She perched on the edge of her chair, complimenting Aunt Clara's cornbread like it was gourmet, while Elias sat ramrod straight, his knee not even brushing mine under the table like it used to. I shoveled food into my mouth, tasting nothing but ash, my mind replaying every touch, every whisper. "You're my constant, Jax. No one else." After grace, Mom's ritual, invoking a God who seemed deaf to fatherless prayers, the questions tumbled out. "So, Riley, how'd you two meet?" Aunt Clara prodded, her fork spearing a carrot like she was mining for truth. Elias cleared his throat, that Adam's apple bobbing like a buoy in a storm. "Art class," she modeled for our figure drawing. Riley giggled, the sound grating like nails on sheet metal. He sketched me in this dress first, said it made me look like a forest nymph. Romantic, right? Romantic. The word landed like a sucker punch. I gripped my napkin, knuckles white, visions flashing. Elias's sketches in my truck, nudes of me, not some co-ed in silk. Had he traded our raw lines for her curves? Betrayal wasn't the dress. It was the ease in his voice, the way he leaned into her without flinching, like he'd rehearsed the script in the mirror. Dinner dragged, plates cleared to dessert, apple pie from the freezer section, Mom's apology for not baking fresh. I excused myself to the porch, the rain a curtain sealing me in. Footsteps followed, heavy, hesitant. Jax, wait. Elias's hand on my shoulder, warm as memory, sent sparks down my spine. I shrugged it off, whirling to face him under the sagging awning. Water dripped from the eaves, pooling at our feet like tears we couldn't shed. What the hell, Eli? Her? After everything. His face crumpled, that boyish openness cracking like old plaster. It's not, God, Jax, it's complicated. Complicated. The word we'd used for us. Complicated love in a town where fag was still spit like tobacco. But this? She means nothing, he whispered, glancing back at the door where Riley's laughter filtered through, oblivious. Mom's been on me. After her health scare, she wants grandkids, normalcy. And the loans, UW's killing me. Riley's family's got connections, scholarships. It's just pretend. For now. Pretend. Like we were pretend. The gears in my chest ground to a halt. You think I don't get pressure? Mom's working doubles at the diner so I can fix cars instead of flipping burgers. But I don't fake it with some girl in a dress to buy breathing room. My voice rose, rain swallowing the edges. We're more than this, Eli. Or we were. He stepped closer, the scent of his soap, Irish Spring, cheap in ours, mixing with the petrichor. We still are. This is survival, Jax. Tacoma eats its own. Remember Tommy? Outed junior year. Family shipped him to conversion camp in Idaho. I can't lose you, but I can't lose everything. His hand cupped my jaw, thumb tracing the stubble I'd grown to hide the softness in my eyes. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed. His breath on my lips, the pull like gravity. I leaned in, desperate, but he pulled back, eyes darting to the window. Not here. Not now. The door creaked, Riley's silhouette in the frame. Everything okay? Babe? Babe. The knife twisted deeper. Elias dropped his hand, the mask slipping back on. Yeah. Just catching up. He walked away, leaving me in the downpour's hush, the dress's ghost haunting the space between us. That night, I drove the back roads, wipers slapping rhythm like a heartbeat out of sync. The betrayal festered, not just his, but mine, for believing blood ties or whatever we had could outrun fear. We texted at 2 a.m., we need to talk. His reply, tomorrow. Coffee at the pier? I stared at the screen, thumbs hovering over I love you or fuck you, settling on don't be late. Dawn broke gray over Commencement Bay, gulls wheeling like accusations. Elias was there early, huddled in his hoodie, steam rising from his to-go cup. No Riley, no dress. Just us, raw as the tide scraping barnacles off pilings. I'm sorry, he started, voice gravel from no sleep. It started as a favor, model for class, 1 coffee, then her folks offering to co-sign my loans. I thought I could compartmentalize. You in one box, survival in another. I laughed, bitter as black brew. Boxes? That's what we are now. After you held me when Mom's cancer scare hit last year, whispering we'd beat it together. After I drove 6 hours to your dorm when finals crushed you, just to breathe the same air. Tears pricked, hot and unwelcome. Men like us didn't cry in parking lots, but fatherless hearts leak easy. He reached across the splintered picnic table, fingers lacing mine. Calloused from pencils, grease from my garage shifts. I panicked, Jax. Dad's ghost. His letters from prison, calling me weak for Mom's choices. What if loving you makes me him? Weak. Running. His voice broke, mirroring mine. But Riley, she's a prop. You're the real. Always. The confession hung, heavy as fog. Conflict raged. Forgive and fight or walk and wound. I thought of Aunt Clara's stories. Her own queer youth in the 80s, bars raided, loves lost to AIDS and shame. Humanity's in the staying. she'd say, passing the pie. Not perfect, but persistent. I can't share you, I said finally, squeezing his hand till it hurt. Not like this. Quit the act or quit us. His eyes searched mine, storm clouds parting. Then we fight. Together. Tell Mom first. She's tougher than she looks. And the loans? We'll figure it. Side hustles. My truck for your prince. We stood, the bay glittering like promise. No grand gestures, no sunset kiss. Just two guys, fatherless but not friendless, stepping off the pier into the unknown. Betrayal's scar would linger, a tattoo over our gears. But romance isn't fairy tales. It's the grit to rebuild after the shatter. Months later, at another Sunday dinner, no dress, no pretense. Mom raised her glass, eyes misty. To family, the kind we choose. Elias's knee pressed mine under the table, solid as bedrock. We'd come out piecemeal. Whispers to Aunt Clara, a pride sticker on my toolbox. Tacoma grumbled, but we endured. Jobs in Seattle. A shared apartment overlooking the sound, sketches and engines blending into something ours. It wasn't easy. Fights flared over old fears. Nights where silence screamed louder than rain. But in the quiet after, his head on my chest, heartbeats sinking like brothers reborn, I knew. We were more. Always had been. Fatherless boys turned lovers. Mending what broke us. One stubborn stitch at a time.